Hi, Sarah.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. Do you go by Sarah Ann, correct?
I do go by Sarah Ann. Thank you for checking.
No problem. How are you
Appreciate it.
tonight?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good, very good.
Good.
Nice to
Glad
see
you.
sunshine today.
Yeah, no kidding. Terry, did you ever hear confirmation back from Charlie? Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. I did. He said he was coming.
Great, thank you.
It's 6 o'clock now, and I appreciate everybody being on time. Thank you very much. My name is Terry Berthelot. I'm the acting chair of this committee, and I'm really pleased to see everybody. Charlie Osberger is also on this committee, so we're going to give him a few minutes to get on so that we have a quorum. Otherwise, we can have our interviews without a quorum. Is that right, Sarah Ann?
Yes, that's right. It's perfectly fine for the meeting to proceed, just as long as, there's no votes taken. And of course, we'll be recording throughout.
So I'll just give him a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. I'm going to give him one more minute, then we'll get going. All righty. It is 6:05. I am Terry Berthelot. I am acting chair of the Committee on Committees, and I'm going to call our meeting to order. Thank you again for being here. I'm going to do a roll call. Me here. And what we do now is something we're required to do. Is we have an opportunity for public comment. You're all here to be interviewed. Is anybody here just to make a comment about something going on in the town related to the Committee on Committees? Seeing none. Sarah Ann, is there anybody who might be on a phone call or otherwise?
Thanks for checking. No, I don't see
Oh.
anyone else here. Thank you.
All righty, then I will close our public comment. All right, next on our agenda are things that I need a quorum to do. Since I don't, we're going to skip the approval of the minutes from our last meetings, and we're going to move to our interview of our candidates. So often in these meetings, at the end of the meeting, we have a vote and we vote to nominate the person to the town council, essentially. And we make a recommendation to the town council. It doesn't look like that will happen tonight. It looks like all we'll do are the interviews. And generally speaking, it only makes sense to stay on for your interview. You're welcome to stay for the entire meeting. It's a public meeting, but don't feel in any way that you have some obligation. I imagine many people have kids to feed or cats or dogs. So don't feel like there's any obligation whatsoever after we wrap up our little chat. I know some of you, that I'm so excited that you're all here and that you're new people. They're not sort of the same old from our wonderful community. We have lots of wonderful volunteers, but it's really neat. You're all new to me. So I look forward to chatting with you all. That said, I think some of you are new in terms of being volunteers in town. So one thing we'll talk about is the possibility of maybe sitting in on a meeting and talking to the chair of whatever committee you're interested in being in, so that you get a sense of the time commitment and what the particular committee does, because that person will be able to better speak to it than I can. And I'm sure you have some questions, so that will largely be my recommendation. All righty. Any questions for me before we start the interviews? Interviews is really the wrong word. It's just a chat. So don't feel any stress whatsoever. All righty. The first person on my list is Alexander, and I'm guessing that's Alex, or no, Alexa.
Yeah, so it kind of automatically gives that name. So Alex is Nick. All right.
So I'm sorry, is it Alexander?
Yeah, even just Alex is perfectly fine.
Okay, great. So it looks like you're interested in the Agriculture Committee.
That is correct.
Go ahead.
No, please. Sorry.
So I guess my question for me is, have you had a chance to go to any one of the meetings or talk to their chair?
Yes, actually, Jennifer had invited me to, kind of speak to the Agricultural Committee. I'm a recent property owner in the town of Mansfield. It's been a wonderful experience, and I did sit in, and it was just a really great meeting. And actually, after that, they did ask if I had any interest in joining. They even gave me the opportunity to speak for a little while. And it was great. So yeah, I did have that opportunity.
Awesome. Can you tell me or tell the group a little bit about your background and why you're interested in this particular committee?
Yeah, so I would actually say that first and foremost is when I was first looking to purchase property in the town of Mansfield, I was reaching out to Jennifer and Linda and Jolene actually later on, and it was just such a wonderful experience, and it was actually kind of significantly different than other towns I was engaging in. So I'm actually I was considering purchasing property in Columbia. I didn't receive the best response for some of what my plans or desires were, and a little bit less cooperation with answering some of those questions. And they've just been absolutely wonderful, being Jennifer, Linda, Julie, an example. And the community has been very welcoming. So that was the first reason I had an interest. But beyond that is we are in the process of starting a farm in Mansfield itself. I happen to be 27, and there's not many people my age, I think, necessarily starting kind of larger scale agricultural operations. And that's kind of the hope, is to really kind of bring to fruition our personal mission statement, which is to engage, educate, and encourage younger people to entertain agriculture. So I think that committee kind of serves that functional purpose. And then in cooperation with that also is that for the last 7 years, I've been auditing meat processing facilities all across the United States. I would not say it was a privilege, but it was an opportunity. And with that being understood is there's identifying kind of what you want agriculture to look like, or if someone talks about doing larger scale agriculture, I've seen it at small scale thrive, and I've seen it larger scale thrive, but I've also seen what are the resource demands of both. And me personally, I'm currently in the process of getting my master's for agroforestry. So it's kind of taking, again, even a further kind of different approach to agriculture. And I'm hoping to just kind of work with like-minded people, but hopefully help other people that are trying to enter this community. Because I've been a resident of Connecticut on and off for the last, 26 years of my existence. And with that, Mansfield has always been kind of in my mind that epitome of agriculture within Connecticut, because my sister went to UConn. I remember the UConn Dairy Bar. I remember just the surrounding communities all across Mansfield, and going to local farms, and it's kind of ingrained in my history. So again, being a part of that in a more meaningful way, I would say, beyond just my own personal experience with the land, would be great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your interest in doing this. As I said before, ordinarily at the end of the evening, we'd be doing actual recommendations. So now it will be another month before we can do that. And then it'll be, and then then it goes to the town council. And Sarah Ann, at that point, will folks hear from you regarding the appointment?
Typically what happens next is they'll hear directly from the individual who's assigned to staff that committee. My office will notify that staff member will get in touch with the new committee member to get them on board.
So I apologize for this being slow. They're public meetings, so you can start going to meetings whenever you like, but it'll be a little while before you can actually be a voting member. Any questions for me?
No, it's been wonderful. Thank you.
All righty, Alex, thank you so much, and have a fantastic evening.
You as well. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
Take care.
All righty. I saw Ethan before. It looks like he's gone. Yes. All right.
Yeah, I think he had to hop out, perhaps tech issues. Maybe he'll be back and we can put him back on later.
Okay, good. Next, I have Denise, who's interested in the in MAC, in Mansfield Advocates for Children. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you. Good evening.
So actually, MAC was my first involvement in the town. Really important community engagement opportunity, but also a super important committee, particularly right now with all the various concerns about families and children as we're coming out of the pandemic. Why are you interested in being part of MAC?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm a mother of a 6-year-old, and we moved to town right in February 2020, kind of right before things changed. And he was part of the preschool program in the Mansfield Public Schools. So kind of having that experience, it really gave us an idea of the quality of education in the schools and the community of parents. And then in my work through the Mansfield Downtown Partnership, I have worked with Sarah Dufresne, who is the staff member that runs MAC. And so I have had several conversations with her about the work that MAC does and about some of the community engagement that happened prior to the pandemic shutdown, and looking to sort of build back. My background is in events, and in my previous work, I did a lot of family style events. So I really feel like I can bring that experience to MAC and give back, kind of work with this community of parents and sort of bring back and help to work to support families and children in our community. I think also one of the things in regards to supporting the grant funding for centers throughout the town, I think I'm just interested in sort of helping to support that. It's not something that I have a background in, but I'm interested in learning and assisting as much as I can with that.
Well, that's terrific. And boy, yeah, some events planning, that you can't say enough about how important that is for the town. And there've been some great things sponsored by MAC, put together by MAC and other groups before. So that's terrific. Have you been to any of their meetings?
Yes, yeah, I actually went to this past meeting, sort of the start of 2020, and then I also attended the last meeting of 2021.
Great, great. And you heard what I said to Alex about why it's going to take a while to get any official appointments. Of course, you can start attending meetings whenever you like. Questions for me?
No, I don't think so. I know Sarah and I have discussed, because I work for the partnership, which is a public-private partnership, and I also am engaged with a committee through there. She kind of looked into it and we discussed whether it was a conflict. So I did just want to let you know and sort of bring that up here, just in case it was something you wanted to talk about.
Can you
Okay,
go ahead? If you don't mind, you could just sort of lay that out a little bit of what the potential conflict might have been.
Yeah, I really don't think that there is, but so I'm the staff coordinator for their the Mansfield Downtown Partnership Celebrate Mansfield Festival Committee. So I do have experience in regards to the public notice for events and sort of that side of it. Again, I don't think it's a conflict, but I did just want to bring it up because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
in
no,
relation to the
yeah,
town.
that doesn't sound like a conflict at all to me. But thanks for bringing it to our attention. That's super helpful. And it better just to sort of think it through than not. But yeah, thanks for that heads up. But yeah, I don't see how that could be a conflict.
Okay, great.
All right. As I said before, you're free to stay, but also free to enjoy your evening. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you as well. Have a good night.
Bye now. All righty, next on my list is Jacqueline.
All right. Hello. Thank you
Hi.
for having me, and good evening, everybody. So
So-
I'm also interested in MAC. I'll segue into it. And I'll just, before you ask any questions, I am a mother of two. My oldest is a kindergartner, Annie Vinton, and my youngest will be attending the new school as a kindergartner next year, which is all very exciting. I am a Mansfield resident for over 10 years, and we are looking to buy our forever home this year, fingers crossed, and stay in Mansfield. My husband and I are both UConn graduates, so we really have strong ties and roots here, and we don't want to leave. And I am interested in MAC as a mother and also a community of parents, and hearing their,
Did we lose sound?
I don't know what happened. I saw the hold that thought.
Oh, that's all right. I was still, okay, I didn't see that. Terry, you having some tech difficulties?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Terry has entered in the chat that she's lost her sound. She's working to recover it. So we'll take a brief pause. Jacqueline, thank you for
Okay,
your
yeah, no
good
worries. I know how
nature.
tech goes.
Okay, I'm good. I'm so
Oh,
sorry. I
Hooray.
heard right up to where you said that you and your husband were UConn graduates. I'm
Yeah.
so apologetic. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Trust me, I get the tech stuff. Every day, something new. No, I was just saying that, you know, we have strong roots here, and we really don't, we're interested in raising our children here. We want to stay here. And, you know, having 2 young kids and being in a community with parents and dealing with the pandemic, especially, I'm looking to help bring our community and our parents back to what feels like that sense before we were pre-pandemic. And my experience, I don't have a whole lot of experience with event planning or anything like that, but with my current role at work, I was involved in a colleague resource group. So I've been with, I'm employed with Pfizer. I've been there for the past 12 years, and engagement through colleague resource groups, trying to plan events in that manner, not so much with children or children's events, but my focus is how can I contribute to the community, be a voice for other parents, and bring some joy back into the world through this, whatever this pandemic looks like now from here on out. So I don't know if you have any questions for me. This is all very new. I have not attended any meetings, but I am, you know, I've haven't met Sarah yet. I do get the community update emails that she sends out. So I'm trying to get more involved as my children become older. And I'm really seeing like, wow, I'd love to be involved more and really be a voice for them.
Well, I think Mansfield does so many things right by kids, and certainly our school system and the people who work in the schools are top notch. I think structurally, it can be challenging for young families because there are not a lot of community spaces to gather. And I think MAC has done a lot in terms of helping with that and recognizing that, which is really important to make sure that folks don't feel isolated and feel know where community can be found, like in our public library, which is a wonderful place, right? So, you know, I think having you there would be terrific to sort of help with that, with your energy and obvious vision for the town. That's terrific. It would be awesome if you went to a meeting and then just made sure it was for you. And then if you would just email Sarah Ann and say, yeah, I went, loved it, hated it, whatever happened. And
You want to come say hi? My little guy. Want to come say hi? That's okay. You can come say hi. Say hi. Crashing the party. No. Okay, now you can go back upstairs. Okay, then you can sit quietly. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I have a seat right here. So just to get a sense of what the commitment is and how the meetings run, and then just a simple email. And then, as you heard earlier, it's going to take a little bit longer than usual to get you appointed, but eventually you'll hear, I guess, from Sarah that you know, this is officially gone through the town council.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to potentially joining and working and meeting with all you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All righty. That leaves Ada. Hi, Ada.
Hi, I'm Aida.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
And you're
Perfect
interested.
timing. Like, looks like my 3-year-old is just calling me right now.
I'm sorry. I'm so
That's right.
sorry.
I guess it just shows, you know, the potential challenges I might have in joining any committees. Anyway, I I got before you list all the ones that I that I checked. I basically think I want to be part of the community more, and I checked the boxes of the things where I could fit, also where I could learn more and maybe contribute potentially in the future. So I do get Sarah's newsletters, so that's how she let us know that there are openings in committees. And we moved here in 2018. Yeah, I kind of know a little bit about a lot of random different things. So I got a bachelor's in environmental design and design studies at CU in Boulder. Then I worked in and lived in Japan and kind of throughout in the world. And when I got married, we moved to Yukon here, the Storrs campus. I'm so sorry, my son is crying.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So unfortunate because they were perfect up until you called my name. It's amazing. Yeah, it happens
So-
like that.
We could do this one of two ways, Ada. We could keep moving, which would be fine by me. But if you wanted, if it would be easier, we could just schedule you for our next meeting.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, they're two boys, so I don't know how it's gonna doesn't sound like they're calming down. So sorry about that. So unfortunate. All right. Yeah, I had all of my stuff prepared, but I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. So if it's okay, we'll do the interview next time. And hopefully I'll remember that you have little ones and I should get to you first.
No, it's not.
I'll remember. I promise I'll remember.
No,
One thing,
I feel very bad about it because I had everything set up and planned out, but children are unpredictable. So that's one thing I can contribute, is that there's unpredictability and doing anything involved with children. But sorry, I apologize.
So is that okay to wait till next time?
Yeah,
Would
sure.
you-
So much.
Because I'm okay with continuing. I can work through distraction. I have a puppy. I'm getting better and better at it.
I think that, I mean, well, sure, I don't know. Anyway, I can just share my CV, or I don't really know.
So so it looks like the committee, the Affordable Housing Committee, is the one that's open, that you indicated interest in. That's a brand new committee and a super important committee. And so that's not one where I could say, attend a meeting, because they haven't started having meetings. We're just now putting the committee together. But it's very much the vision of the Affordable Housing Committee. Their charge is very much about increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion in Mansfield, and making sure that we have homes where young families can live, and also where potentially older people can age in place. Is that something you'd be interested in being part of?
Yeah, that sounds great. That would be right up my alley. I definitely studied accessibility to, just the kind of advocating for accessibility to housing. That was part of my studies, and it's just a bachelor's degree. And now I'm going into, I want to study a master's in human rights. So I think, just being able to even contribute the passion for that.
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect fit to me. So why don't we choose that of the committees to put you forward for, recognizing, just like we said with everybody else, it's going to be at least a month, if not longer, before you hear anything official.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
Yeah, I guess, like you said, it's a new committee, so we wouldn't know the time commitment or anything like that. So we'll just
Nothing, yeah.
play it by ear.
The
Sounds good.
committee will figure that out with the staff person who's assigned by the town. And they'll come up with it'll be probably once a month that they meet. And Sarah Ann probably would be kind enough to send you the charge if you would be interested in seeing that ahead of time. Sarah Ann, could you do that?
I will be kind enough to send her the charge. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's perfect. Thank you for choosing for me. That's
All righty. Any other questions?
No, thanks so much for your time. I apologize for the hiccup.
No worries, no worries at all. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy those kids.
Thank you. Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, Kevin.
There we go. Hitting the wrong buttons.
At least I'm not the only one. How are you?
Good. I'm trying to just decipher the House of Representatives changes to the governor's EOs. Some are getting pushed forward and some are being eliminated. And it's like untangling spaghetti, trying to figure out what the ultimate result of all this stuff is. So, but hopefully the Senate moves on it on Monday. So for your meeting Monday night, we'll have some kind of guidance at least of where that's going.
Good.
So.
All righty, so Sarah Ann put into our packet, which I hope you have access to, what the ethics committee, what their recommendation was regarding
Yep.
folks on the Affordable Housing Committee. My concern is that we have an awful lot of committees in this position. We have, for instance, the Human Services Advisory Committee has a lot of folks who in fact are part of the not-for-profits who ultimately get money from us. And even I serve on 2 not-for-profits in town who ask for money. And also there's the Open Space Committee that makes recommendations to the town, that has a lot of people some people from Joshua's Trust who, so I just wanted to sort of chat out the implications of this and get your recommendations on what direction to head.
Yeah, I guess as I said in my opinion, there's no hard and fast rule for any of this stuff when it comes to that. And there's a state statute that talks about a conflict of offices, which 2 offices you can't hold. It doesn't really cover this at all. I think the way I read the Ethics Commission one is that they talk about people who are either employed or currently serve on the board of directors. And when I got the original request through Sarah Ann, and I think that if it came from you, Tara, or whomever, it was really talking to people who are affiliated with it. And I think, at least in my mind, I was thinking more along people who are volunteers or supporters or people who are working with those groups. The problem, I think, a little bit, the problem I really see here on this one is, which is different than the open space or some of these other committees, is the vetting for the recommendation really goes through the committee for competing proposals. That's a little bit more structured, I think, than than the other committees that you've got that sort of same setup on it.
They actually do that on Human Services Advisory Committee too, though. They put out, so I mean, generally they keep giving the same money to the same groups, which
yeah, I've served on the same ones in my hometown too, and it's
so I guess I'm not understanding something. I'm missing the distinction there.
I guess because of the structure and the fund and the amount of funds, it probably in some ways it's the distinction, the amount of funds that may be available through the Affordable Housing Trust and the key role that may play in development and competing developments for, and not competing for people, but competing for those limited dollars, is, I think that it, if I'm going to be on there and I'm on the, private affordable housing advocacy group on that. And we're thinking of doing a project, and I'm going to be seeing someone else's financials on their project. It cuts a little bit closer. I don't necessarily agree with the ethics board on a blanket. No one can do this. But that's obviously their opinion and right to issue that. I think because of what people anticipate the Affordable Housing Trust Fund growing to, it's not, $20,000 or $50,000 a year to help a social services agency or something like that. Potential millions of dollars that are going to make or break potential affordable housing projects. That gives me a little bit of pause, different than our local social services. I've been on the board of an independent living association, volunteer for 35 years. I think we get 15 grand out of our $2 or $3 million operating budget. It's not going to kill us one way or the other, but it's really nice to have.
Yeah.
I think this one just is a little bit, because of the scope and the process. I think that gives everybody a little bit of pause. Like, well, and I think there's also an anticipation. Ultimately, it's going to be up to the council and you guys to decide. But I think there's also anticipation that these funds are going to grow fairly quickly, and there's going to be projects that are going to get done. And
is that based on the stuff that's there, the other stuff that's getting built, the payment in lieu, that money
the
is
payment in
coming?
lieu and those kind of funds coming in, and then, if I'm sitting on the board of the Mansfield Housing or whatever, and and our project isn't ready to submit yet, am I going to be tempted or influenced to vote no on other projects to keep the money available for us later on?
So do you think that there'll be other folks who come in who want to build the affordable housing when the money is there?
I think depending on how they qualify, I mean, you can go in there and say, well, I'm going to build a 200 unit piece and I have to, do a 30% set aside, but I'm willing to go up to 40 or 50 if the town will kick in X number of dollars. I mean, you can imagine those sort of processes running through. There's a competing grant that's out there right now where the town has to endorse it. I don't think Mansfield has one, but two of my other towns do, where if they do enhance either workforce or affordable housing and the town gets it, there's a new funding, I think maybe through state ARPA money or something like that goes through. So, I don't know that there'd be a standalone all affordable workforce housing project privately funded, but I think if they can qualify it, they'll look at that money as free money and try to get in on it. The problem is exactly as you identified. The people who are most interested in this are already involved in it. And, people who are interested in social services are involved in social services.
And they're the ones with the expertise.
Right.
That's
Just listening to the folks you were interviewing tonight, you're like, yep, she's involved in this because she has an interest in that. And, I think that the level of vetting that the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Committee is going to be doing in terms of projects and recommendations is significantly different than it does on, the social services or some of the other type things that are on that. So,
Do you think that allowing folks to serve on the committee, but having to recuse themselves from those particular votes, or do you think that they would have too much influence just by being on the committee over the decisions?
I would, and that's what I sort of outlined in my opinion, is that, they can recuse themselves on a vote by vote basis on that. And, like in any case, I mean, I've got, in one of my towns for many, many years, we've had different town employees serving on their own town council. And, we've had ethics opinions, we've issued opinions saying, you can vote on the budget and everything else, don't vote on your own contract. But, that other than that, as long as it's affecting everybody equally. So I think they could, as I said, when it was first presented to me, it was more along the lines at least as I understood it, was, you know, folks affiliated with rather than being on the, you know, not necessarily on the board of directors or employed by. I mean, I think the employed by really does raise some, at least appearance stuff, even if they can put it out of their mind. If I'm being paid by, you know, the housing trust or some other entity, and I'm judging someone else's, or I'm judging our own application, you know, it gets difficult.
You lost me. So if they're on the board of directors, do you see a problem?
Yeah, I mean, not on an overall blanket prohibition. You know, I generally come down in my own sort of view of these things is, you know, it's all issue by issue on that. And, you know, you've got to be aware of it and careful on it. And people need to know that going into it. But you know, I don't, you know, because the only thing it's not the only thing that these committee is going to do is to judge applications. There's other processes and, you know, supports that are on that aren't related to a particular application. So, you know.
You said there would be more of a problem if they were affiliated with. When you say affiliated with, what do you?
No, reverse. Less of a problem if they're just affiliated with it. I'm a supporter. I volunteer my time with, you know, them or this agency or that. I think there's less of an issue with that than it is someone who's employed and being paid by a particular agency.
So employment, the worst, board of directors, a little more FA, just
Yeah,
affiliated.
someone who's just a generous supporter, and I, you know, I do a lot with adults with developmental disabilities, you know, and there's probably 3 or 4 different organizations. You know, I don't get paid by anybody. I just do it all because I like doing that stuff, and I have since I was young. So, you know, when you're just affiliated with or supportive of, you know, that I don't really see as a, you know, that's just, I'm generally interested in that issue or that line of work or whatever.
And the board of director person would be more in trouble just because part of your role as a board of directors is to advocate for your organization. So.
Right. You know, and you know, in most, I would imagine in most of those sort of large affordable housing developments, it's going to have some kind of requirement that the board approve the application or approve the going forward with a particular project. You know, they may not, but that's what I would certainly expect.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, anything that gets recommended goes to the town council. So from my point of view, you know, when we were having this conversation earlier, I didn't see a conflict because I thought ultimately we would be the people who made the decision, but you don't see that as a sufficient check. You think that?
Well, I think the problem, there's the way, not problem, but one of the issues is that it won't get to the council unless the Affordable Housing Committee recommends it.
Right.
So if they kill it at that level, you guys don't have, you know, under the statute, the ability to reach in and pull it back out. So that's why I see that as being a little bit troublesome.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Thank you for that. All righty, I think I have a good sense. So maybe it's possible to have folks on, but needing to understand that they need to recuse themselves from votes about. The worry is that they're going to be a large chunk, so that's something we're going to need to think through. That you know, you want 4 of 7 people recusing themselves on all the votes. So
right. And then it also gives that sort of appearance that 4 of the 7 are all affiliated with the same organization. Is it just a rubber stamp for that organization and other people don't even bother applying?
Yeah. And these folks are awfully good human beings. My guess is they'll probably attend the meetings and make recommendations and you know, let their expertise be helpful, even if they're not officially on the committee.
Continue to advocate for that interest. So.
All right. I think that's all I have for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if some of the applicants have particular questions, you want to filter it through to me, I'd be happy to take a look at them as we go through that.
Okay. All right.
All right. Great.
Bye now.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All right, Sarah Ann, it's just you and me again.
Yeah, is there anything you want to meet with yourself about? I did have a question for you, Terry. On old business, the Human Services Advisory Committee charge, of course, we can't pass the motion to recommend the council adopt it. Did you want to have this item on the council agenda anyway? And I'll change the agenda item summary to reflect that the committee wasn't able to get a quorum to recommend adoption, but then you'll have a chance to speak to it at the council meeting, so we don't hold it up.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And the only difference will be I'll need a second, which I'll obviously get. So that's a great
Right.
idea.
Okay, good. We will do that. Other than that, I don't know, maybe we can look at having, it's, up to you, but maybe we can look at having a special meeting or something to get some of these people appointed. We're getting stacked up now. We're a couple months deep.
Yeah. If you could float some times to me and Charlie.
Sure.
And we'll see if we can do that.
I'm from what I'm hearing, I'm not sure that you're ready to, perhaps you are, after this conversation tonight. I guess the question to you is, are you ready to make appointments for affordable housing, or are we looking at the other appointments that haven't been made yet for during a special meeting?
I think it would be the latter. I think that the affordable housing is a conversation for the whole committee to have, or at least a caucus of the committee to have before we make a recommendation. So,
Sure.
But the other groups, I mean, I guess we could have that conversation with just Charlie. Maybe we could put that on the agenda.
I give you the option, and then you don't have to do it if you don't
Yeah,
feel ready.
no, I think we could do it. If it's so, yeah, why don't we do it? Why don't
Okay.
you put it on? And I just had to think that through. Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, great. All right, so I will send a poll out to you for a special meeting.
And it
Sounds
might
good.
be that Sam is back soon, which will increase the likelihood of us having a caucus
Right,
going
great.
forward.
Right.
All right. Thank you for everything.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned at 6:47.
All
Have a
right,
great
good
night. Bye-bye.